You said yes before you finished the message. Not because you had the time. Not because you had the energy. Because the idea of saying no produced something in your chest that felt worse than whatever saying yes was going to cost you. You probably call this being a good person, and you are. But that is not the whole explanation. And somewhere underneath the giving, underneath the showing up, the rearranging, the making it work, there is something else running. Something that started long before you were old enough to notice it. Here is what most people assume about people who always put others first: that they are selfless, that they are generous by nature, that kindness is simply who they are. And here is the part that changes everything. Selflessness and compulsive giving look identical from the outside. From the inside, they feel completely different. Selflessness is a choice made from abundance. Compulsive giving is a response made from something older. Something that learned very early that your value in a relationship was directly connected to your usefulness in it. Think about the last time someone offered to help you. Not asked if you needed help, actually insisted on doing something for you. What did you feel? For most people who put others first, the answer is not gratitude. It is discomfort, a faint but specific unease that sits somewhere between guilt and the urge to immediately return the favor before the debt has time to settle. That response is information. It is telling you something about the internal accounting system you have been running for the most part of your life. A system where receiving feels like owing, where rest feels like neglect, where saying I need something carries a weight that saying I will do something never does. Here is where it starts. Not always, but often, in homes where love felt conditional. Not conditional in a dramatic way, just in the quiet, daily way where affection was warmer when you were helpful, where things went more smoothly when you did not need too much, where the easiest version of you to love is the version that caused the least trouble. Children are extraordinarily good at reading that signal and extraordinarily good at adapting to it. So you became the easy one, the capable one, the one who sorted things out. And it worked, which is the problem. Because the strategies that work in childhood do not always work in adulthood. They just feel familiar enough to keep using. Psychologist Martin Seligman's research on learned helplessness established something that applies here in reverse. Just as people can learn to be helpless through repeated experience of having no control, people can learn to be indispensable through repeated experience of being most valued when they are most useful. The brain does not forget what earned safety. It keeps doing it, long after the conditions have changed, long after the people around you would love you regardless. But here's the layer most people never reach. Putting others first is not just about giving. It is about control. When you focus on what other people need, when your attention is trained outward on managing their experience, on anticipating their discomfort before it arrives, you do not have to focus on what you need, which means you do not have to risk wanting something and not getting it. You do not have to ask. You do not have to wait. You do not have to be disappointed. The giving is not just generosity. It is also protection, a way of staying in motion so the quiet underneath never gets loud enough to hear. You have probably felt that quiet, usually late at night, or in a moment when everyone else has what they need, and the house is still, and you realize there is no task left, and nothing standing between you and the question of whether you are actually okay. And you reach for your phone, or you think of something else that needs doing, or you go to sleep before the question has a chance to fully form. The research confirms what you already know in your body. A 2012 study published in the journal Psychological Science found that people who consistently suppressed their own needs in favor of others reported significantly lower well-being over time. Not because giving is harmful, but because giving without reciprocity, without boundaries, without rest, depletes the same resources it appears to be generating in other people. Plain English, you cannot pour from a cup that was never filled, and a cup that is always pouring eventually stops being generous and starts being empty. Here is the belief reversal worth sitting with. You might think that putting yourself first means caring less about others. Psychology suggests the opposite. The people who learn to meet their own needs with the same attention they give to everyone else's do not become less generous. They become more present, more consistent, more capable of giving without the resentment that builds quietly underneath when giving becomes the only mode you know how to operate in. There is a version of you that exists somewhere underneath all the doing. The version that has opinions about what they want for dinner, that says no to the thing that is too much without 3 days of guilt following the decision, that receives help without immediately calculating how to return it, that rests without needing a reason. That version is not selfish. That version is just a person, a full one, with needs as real as anyone else's, who deserves the same quality of attention they have spent years giving to everyone around them. You do not have to stop giving. You do not have to become someone who withholds. You just have to begin including yourself in the category of people worth caring for. Not last. Not when everyone else is sorted. At the same time, with the same instinct, the same speed, the same absence of conditions that you have always offered to everyone else. You were not born to give everything away. You learned to. And the things we learn can be revised. If this landed somewhere specific, the video on why people who grew up too fast find it hardest to receive care will make even more sense of what you just heard. It is there when you are ready.